All right, so yeah, phone dies, and then, that's one of the things. The phone died while I'm live, and because I'm live when the phone died, the live wouldn't like end properly. It kept going and going and going, and spiraling, and then just now, look, got my phone all ready to record. Brought these things over here so I could do it here and sit down and relax. And what? Look at that. What I fucking mean. This is exactly what I fucking mean. Okay, I get the cards all ready. I get my things all good. I'm not gonna do what I need to do. No, you're not. No, you're not. Like, keep watching. This is like the final step. What's the final step? To put the fucking thing there so I can record what I wanted. What is going on? That's it. That's fucking it. Keep watching. I'm using the other fucking phone that's old as shit, so it takes fucking forever to keep on anything, watching. Like, to take it away from this phone to another place. There's gonna be good things happen. Stuff that you won't want to miss. Evil motherfucking idiots. So, yeah. If you were there last, and I'm not talking to the good people that are here watching. I'm talking to the people that are fucking dagger hating, evil, manipulating, toxicating, fucking with everything, making life, just doesn't need to be this way. Doesn't need to be this way. And it's energy. You can't lie with energy. I can feel it. I can see it. I know how my life is. Like, I am very good at interpreting things, hence what I do. It's part of my job. And those, sometimes people don't like it when you put some boundaries up. When you decide to stop living in anxiety land and stop hiding. They want to prevent it, So they're going to put a lot of shit in your plate. They're going to want you to juggle too many things. They're going to make it more difficult with their fucking, they just keep on sending it. So we're going to do what we do best and piss them the fuck off and continue to do what we plan to do, regardless if they like us to. So, yeah. The last person that I was reading for, the self-love card had come out, and that was like basically the last card I was going to read for them. And, I just didn't want to leave them without it. At least give them their fucking little, hey, there you go. So, and this is something else that's coming through very strongly, is that, like, that can be a trigger in itself. If you're a beautiful person, if you, look at pride. People will lie and say that you have pride because you're beautiful in their own eye, okay? They perceive things in the way that they do things and how they perceive it. And it's a lie. It's a fucking idiotic lie. And it's like, you may not even see yourself as, like, beautiful or in the way that they do, but because they see you as beautiful or sexy or handsome or awesome, sometimes people will misinterpret that as pride. And they will, like, make up a story. And because other people out there are usually coming from a place like of a lower vibration, of not feeling confident in themselves, they don't love themselves, which is a very important thing. And if you do love yourself, that can be perceived as pride. Like, God fucking forbid that you care about yourself. God fucking forbid that you're not going to sit around and self-sabotage. God forbid that you pay attention to the signs and heed the warnings and do what needs to be done. Maybe you procrastinate at times, or maybe you don't even procrastinate. Maybe sometimes there's shit out there happening intentionally because other people are misinterpreting things and sending their daggery energy that does literally translate to horrible shit show. I literally I brought these cards all over here and then dropped one of the boxes with all the, like, there's more than one deck in the box, so had to pick those up too. It was like, again, it's always something, but it's not like I'm asking for protection, I'm asking for safety, I'm asking for security, I'm asking to be, disconnected from that energy that might be influencing stuff. But sometimes that energy, it's just your essence, your beauty, your, like, way of thinking, your way of speaking, something that you did or didn't do a long time ago could still be influencing the way that people are towards you, picking up, looking at you. This is something that I saw too come through very recently about, like, it's imperative to make it clear who you are. Make it clear who you are. And then tonight I saw a little short, and it was like, some people are so, like, unintelligent. It was literally what it was saying. It was like, there's people out there that are just like, they're not intelligent enough to realize, and when that's paired with somebody that's, like, really not genuinely a good person down inside, when they are already, like, a manipulator, or like they have something within them that is dark, if you're nice to them, you're kind to them, they're going to put you down beneath them, as if you are beneath them, that you should bow down to them, that it only makes sense that, you bid and heed what it is that they want. And maybe you do sometimes, do things out of the kindness of your heart, or out of like, a genuine desire to be nice and friendly and cordial and not be an asshole, but there's a fine line between where that becomes something that you don't do. And if it's like your own physical wealth and health, you might decide, oh no, I'm not going to do that just because you want me to, right? And if that starts to happen with somebody that believes that, oh, this person is beneath me, they don't deserve to be treated with kindness and respect, and they don't deserve to have healthy fucking boundaries up, well, then they may not take that so well, that shift, right? They may not take that shift. Look, trust your instincts is what I just pulled out, and it's like, your instincts will know, okay? But those are messages that were very much coming through a lot recently. It's just that, like, people who are done hiding, people who are sick of having to, like, shield themselves away to the point where it's like, you can drop your shield, because you don't even have to do anything about this. You just have to continue to love yourself and show up as yourself. Unleash that wild person within you and be the full embodied. Don't second guess it. Don't worry about it, because maybe they will say stupid shit. Maybe they will think stupid things. Maybe they will be, difficult. But it doesn't have to equate to like your problem. That's their problem. And if there's people out there that believe them and are like going along with their bullshit of like, oh wow, did you see what they're wearing? Like, they shouldn't be wearing that. They're too old for that, or they're like blah 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 blah. You know what that means? That just means that they want to fucking control everything about you, and that you fucking are intimidating them. You're making them feel insecure about the fact that they can't wear that, or they wouldn't wear that, because anybody can wear anything at any time. And if you love yourself enough to not worry about that stupid shit, you might bother the ones that do. So see beyond the current situations of things too. Like when someone is doing something, behaving in a certain way, telling others certain stuff, or something isn't happening, or like that's the other thing, is like there's people out there too that they may not be the manipulator, they may not be the one that looks at you as a sweet person and instantaneously thinks that you belong beneath them in the totem pole, and that because you were nice to them that means that they can walk all over you. There's others out there that won't be that way, but their indifference to the fact of others doing that to you, and them just like silently like not sticking up for you, or not backing you up, or continuing to engage with individuals that they've seen do those things, they're just as bad, because they're not they're just as bad, or just as likely someone that you don't want to surround yourself with, because you are the sum of those that you surround yourselves with, okay? So unleash the wild person inside. See beyond current situations in your life. Know that you shouldn't have to have a fucking shield up 24/7. And if you call on spirit, they're going to continuously show you and let you help you to trust your instincts and break free from the fears and the doubts and the insecurities, or anything that you're juggling that's too much. But they will also let you have the clear indicators and like the reminders of like, what is and isn't happening. Like they're going to let certain stuff fly, and they will let you get, impacted. They will let some inconveniences go down, because the more that those people send those things, the more karma they're creating for themselves. And the more that those others that are indifferent to it do nothing, the more karma they create for themselves as well. Because everybody has the ability to collaborate and cooperate and work together without being in those energies. And if you are coming from the place of trying to be good and helpful, you will grow within those current situations, because you're not doing anything out of a evil energy. You're not trying to make bad things happen. So enjoy and grow and reap the rewards. You will have rewards that are coming for that. When you take time to fucking just reflect and not be those ways, you know what I'm saying? When you don't try to miss out, or try to make others miss out, when you don't try to cause chaos, when you don't cause a bunch of illusions, when you don't surround yourself with those that are of a lower, vibe, that just want to like be hateful and mean, or do things that are just not what is right, because you will become just like the people that you see. Even if you do that whole indifferent thing and pretend like, oh, I didn't know that they were being so mean. Yes, you did. Or I didn't see it. I'm trying not to get mixed in, but you're already there. I'm trying not to I don't want to choose side. Well, you did. It doesn't matter. If you're not, You don't have to choose sides and be like, I declare to everybody that I hate somebody or whatever, but it's your, like, non-action when you know, these things are going on, when you're seeing, if you're visioning something and you're not speaking up about it, or you're, you know, not at least even acknowledging the person that might be going through something bad, and like telling them like, hey, you know, I saw that wasn't cool, like there's just absolutely nothing going on, that's just as bad, you know. And we do need to cut those people out of our life so that we don't become like them, because we don't want to be, you know, the people pleasers. We don't want to be the ones that are just, you know, subtle in our fucking breaking down of, it's like, ugh, it's just not a good thing. It's not a good look. It's not a good vibe, and it will come with, you know, lessons and repercussions for that bad behavior. Look what I spit to, right there. When you do bad behavior, when you're sneaky manipulative, because usually if it's somebody like that too, there's another level of it that you don't see. They may be silent in your presence. They may not say much about it. They may not acknowledge what's happening, but they're not dumb. They're not like that unaware, right? They know. And so then they probably even speak about it, talk about it, complain, or even just, you know, entertain the others that are doing the, like, let's tie this person up and hurt them and not, you know, dislike them and all of that. Stuff's not good. We want people who speak the truth and are of the truth and have healthy boundaries and respect boundaries, and also are kind and respectful of others who are kind and respectful, and not just imagining and immediately being like, oh, you know what, they're a nice person, that must mean it's okay to be bad and evil. Like, that's just stupid. It's just not, but it's a fucking, like, scientific, like, psychological fucking thing, a phenomena. And it's like, oh, and I know, because I've dealt with it even in my family. There's been times that I've made excuses. Well, you know, they just don't think that they know any better. They never really grew up. That's not okay to say. Like, and I did. I said it. And then I think back on it, and I'm like, it doesn't change what they did. It doesn't matter if they had a bad experience and nobody taught them, whatever. Like, nobody taught me either. Because I'm, like, in the circumstance I'm talking about, it was like my own mom that I was often, like, trying to dismiss as, like, she doesn't, you know, she's very, like, immature. She never really had a papa to be. That's she's my mother. Like, she should have been the one teaching me that, right? Not me. Let me just, that's okay, you know. She didn't get the, you know, it's not alright. It doesn't matter. Neither did I. And here I am telling myself this because somehow I taught myself this. Like, don't make excuses for it. So, for the self-love, this is the last card for that person that had asked about ever seeing this other person again. It says, take time out to get to know yourself and what works for you in the partnership, in this particular cycle of your life, okay? And that's interesting because, like, I had also seen this thing about, like, the cycles of life and, like, how older women are usually the ones that are bullies and picking on younger women, like in the workforces and stuff. And then, like, the cycle card has been coming out a lot, like being discerning and clear with the details that are going on. Getting a clear vision and reflecting on the stuff that's happening is going to help us to get the divine wisdom and the higher guidance that comes from, you know, doing that work. Reaping what we sow comes from doing good actions and learning through these cycles of life and the divine order of things, and realizing that there are seasons, and that, like, you know, sometimes the women that are older, like, especially particularly women that are nurses, this is a thing, they have a term that they call the older ones, like when they start, literally, because it's, like, so common that they say calling it eating their young when a younger girl starts working there, and the older ones are teaming up and beating up on that person emotionally, and, you know, then that hurts them financially. I'm sure it fucks with their head. It makes them, and it's like nobody's trying to take away from the fact that you are, you know, the crone. It's nobody, like you are the one that has the wisdom. You have the time. You have the fucking experience, and you're fucking dealing with people who are sick. You're dealing with people who need your help and care and empathy. And if you're going in and acting like that, it's like, I feel like you're in the wrong field. Did you not learn anything in all the time that you've been here looking at people dying and shit? Like, how can you go through that type of experience and turn around and be like, oh, there's a younger person that's somewhat attractive and funny, or a little bit, like, younger than me, so they don't have all that experience, they don't have all the fucking know-how, and I should be the one that's teaching them so that they do have that know-how, so that they can fucking show up and help to heal people appropriately. Like, it shouldn't be about my ego. It shouldn't be about what they don't know. It should be about what can I teach them and help them to learn so that they can in turn help do this job that is one of the most important jobs that you could have the right way, instead of just being a fucking shit show asshole. It's like, what the fuck? It's fucked up, but it happens. There was like 70% of all the women at work that are dealing with any type of bully. It's an older woman bullying younger women, and it's just, it happens anyways outside of work too. My mother always dealt with it she always used to say, older women always have a problem, older women, and like she like gave me that warning. She gave my sisters that warning, and I've seen it play out with other women too, that, you know, they're attractive or they're new to something, and it's like the older women don't like them and think that they're beneath them, or like they get triggered by them because they're, you know, younger and supple. Yeah, look at Pa, ooh, beautiful, you're sexy, somebody wants to fuck you, and they just assume that because they're older and they're wrinklier and they might be like gaining something or losing something in their own eyes about how they perceive themselves, because they don't fucking love themselves. That's the problem most of the time, is that they're not loving themselves. They're not looking positively at their reflection, so their selfless, beautiful energy that they most likely had at one point, that like, you don't go to be a nurse just to be like, maybe you do, I don't know. It feels like more and more I see that there are some evil fucking nurses out there, but I also know that there's some nice ones, and I feel like the nice ones probably stay beautiful longer. It doesn't matter what you fucking look like. If you're an evil bitch, you start to look ugly. If you're a kind soul, others are going to perceive you as beautiful. And the same thing with yourself. Be in that place of selflessness and taking conscious action with humility. Shine the light, you know, and then you'll bring in a divine person that wants to be united with you, to work together with you, because they recognize that within you. And even that, you know, maybe somebody's been around and at one time they were nice and they were sweet and they were kind, and then life happened, and so now they don't feel so pretty and they don't feel so nice and blah 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 blah. So then they end up losing their husband, and, you know, things go down, and this got harder and that got harder, and they start taking it out on everyone around them, forgetting about the gratitude, forgetting about the kindness, forgetting about whatever. And it gets into this energy of this falseness, and it's all about their own survival. It's all about strategy and being not so nice in their shadow, and they don't recognize always. So just know that seems to be a theme that's happening, like coming up a lot, even just like outside of what I usually see with all the cards and stuff. But yeah, you will reap what you sow. So if you're nice and you're kind and you're showing up and you're loving yourself and you're not doing stupid shit that's going to lead you to being disconnected from that, you know, you'll be good. But if you start disconnecting from that and stop loving yourself, you will be disconnected from the wisdom and the things that will support you to have a better understanding. Fucking lightning is also coming through a lot. So do the shadow work, reflect on yourself, check in with yourself, make sure that you're not doing stupid shit or entertaining stupid shit or letting people who are doing stupid shit fucking keep you down and out or feeling like less than. But yeah, these are cycles, and I'm sure men go through it too, because a younger man has more testosterone, and a younger man might be having more sex, or a younger man might be, you know, like not getting as oftenly rejected, or hasn't been through the lessons, or doesn't have so many responsibilities. It's not their fucking fault that they're younger. It's not their fault that those things don't exist. They're just who they are, you know? And that could come down to people needing to heal their inner child. So yeah, it feels like this is a cycle for people where we need the courage to recognize that some people out there have self-sabotaged their whole lives, and they are going to take it out on others when they perceive others as sexy, as, you know, whatever it is that they feel that they missed out on. It could have been the pursuing of their dreams. Maybe they're seeing you know how like moms will fucking project onto their kids and like make them live like the thing that they didn't. Oh, I wanted to be this. Oh, I wanted to dance. I wanted to be a dancer. So they fucking force the kid to become a dancer. The kid doesn't even want to dance. It's like that type of shit. But even worse, because it's like they just hate you because you did, you know what I mean? Fucked up shit. So, seems to be heavily in the energies, that type of stuff. And again, wherever you're at in your life, we want to focus on self-love so that we aren't a mirror to that, so that we don't not recognize it when it appears. So some of the biggest obstacles to self-love are self-criticism and perfectionism, which lead to harsh judgment of ourself, closing down, and eventual illness,
Have you been trying to compete with others or to get approval from people in your family, or simply pushing yourself too hard? If so, you need to soften and start listening to your body. Focus on keeping your heart open and practice acknowledging and recognizing the good in yourself and others. The card beckons you to breathe in love and out every moment of the day. Ask yourself, what changes do I need to make to my daily routine so that the love can pulsate through every breath, action, and relationship that I engage in? And then choose to open your heart through softness with deep breathing, relaxation, movement, and finding beauty in nature, in your home, and in your pain, and in your love, and in your sadness, in your prayers. Keep your heart open even though it makes you feel vulnerable and exposed. And this week is an opportunity to learn to receive. Anytime anyone says something nice to you or offers to help you, take a deep breath, thank them, and accept it. You need to find something loving or nurturing to do for yourself. This could be a massage, a healing treatment, or a movie with a friend. And every time you look in the mirror, repeat, I am lovable. And do this every day until you really believe it. So I had told somebody yesterday to do the fucking mirror work. That's what, like, loving yourself, looking at yourself, really truly talking to yourself in the fucking mirror. And that will help you to love yourself. And when you love yourself, you attract more people around you to love you. Because if we don't love ourselves, that leads to rejection, because we're rejecting ourselves by not loving ourselves, by not honoring every aspect of who we are and how we look and what we've got and don't have and all that shit. And sometimes we also don't love ourselves when we don't let that person hold the door open for us, or we get well, I got it, I can do it, but you don't have to do it. If somebody's offering to do something, or offering a compliment, or just whatever it is that's happening, however it's manifesting, because sometimes we don't even see it. Give yourself the ability to pay attention to it and recognize it, because we may not realize how many times we're rejecting ourselves throughout the day. Pay attention. Like I said, pay attention and have the courage to look and to illuminate and figure out, maybe I haven't, been receptive enough when someone was just trying to, offer me a compliment, or someone was trying to offer me to, go ahead of them in traffic, or someone was whatever it was that I, didn't accept, because I'm not loving myself enough to accept it. I don't feel good enough or valuable enough to take that opportunity, or whatever it is, however it is. And don't let it make you think something opposite either, because sometimes, people make us think that, if you love yourself, if you talk nicely to yourself, if you say, you're beautiful, look, beauty, if you see yourself as beautiful, or you see yourself as, valuable in any way, it can be sometimes perceived in a way of oh, they're just so full of themselves, or they have such a big ego. And it's sometimes it takes a lot of effort for people to actually get to that level. But us thinking that, or having that, maybe that was something that was said to us in our lives, or was misunderstood about us at one time, that can be something that's carried. So have you been misunderstood as being egotistical, or have you anything like that? I think we've all done that to some degree at some point. Had something go down where there was a misunderstanding, or somebody else around us was intimidated by us, or perceived us to be more beautiful or better at, or having something that they don't perceive themselves to have, be, or do. And because of that, they're going to also perceive other things incorrectly, wow, they're so sexy, right? They're so sexy and so beautiful. They must be a whore, or they must be, full of themselves. They're so full, oh, I love this shirt. You could love the shirt that you're on. It doesn't mean you think that you're sexy and beautiful or whatever. But other people that are already leaning in that direction of feeling that way about it may, again, incorrectly think of it in rewrite it into being, oh yeah, they're so full of themselves, they're showing off, and blah 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 blah. And it's that's you just you're taking that to a whole level that just doesn't need to be. We don't need to go there. And I saw the pride card in here a couple of times within the past couple of days. So they could call you prideful, they could call you fucking whatever, or something to do with something that just doesn't really fucking matter. It doesn't make sense. If you've had any of that in your life, it might be a teachable moment that we needed to learn from, right? Let it teach you, pay attention to when those things are showing up, what cycle you are in at this time in your life, and how can you ensure to love yourself and receive without cutting yourself off, or telling yourself something incorrectly about it, or letting other people incorrectly identify as like your ego, you know? Keep a balance, a healthy place between those two things. Okay.